Dear viewers, my name is Rudolf Brann. I'm from Switzerland, which explains my accent. What I would like to talk about today is an attempt to update the Christian doctrine of creation. By updating, I mean integrating the view from modern science that there is just one and only one general process of evolution of which human beings are a part of. How to do that? I'm suggesting taking as a sound foundation the prologue of the Gospel to St. John. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came to be through him, and without him nothing came to be." John 1:1-3. This is already an important confirmation of what science also finds, namely that is one origin of everything in creation, namely there is only one process that brought forth everything. In other words, the prologue of St. John spells out the Christian ontology. By this I mean there is only one foundation of created existence, and that is the Word of God. Christ is the Word of God. The Word of God is Christ. It is through him and for him that all creation is created. Many parts or many areas in the epistles of St. Paul confirm that. What has science to say to this biblical ontology? The way the universe, nature, brings forth new existence is through synthesis. It is through unification of already existing parts that novelty emerges. I read this for the first time in the book The Human Phenomenon by Teilhard de Chardin. I think he is precisely right. There is no reasonable doubt that humans emerge from within general evolution. Again, see YouTube. There are beautiful videos with showing how this is scientifically founded. The Church cannot ignore this fact because faith must be reasonable. It cannot contradict or ignore the truths from science. Faith and reason are like two wings on which the human spirit rises to the contemplation of truth. And God has placed in the human heart a desire to know the truth. I'm citing here Pope John Paul, Fides et Ratio, his encyclical that appeared on September 14 in 1998. Of course, respecting scientific truths cannot replace the biblical truth, namely that God created man in his image. That's the crux here. How do we integrate this view that God created man in his image into our scientific view that there is only one general process of evolution in which humans are a part of? Christian ontology asserts that all that exists thanks to the Word of God. Obviously, that includes the existence of mankind. Yet, in what way are humans different from the rest of creation? What is their specific, special position? It is that humans are the only creatures that are self-conscious. Self-consciousness makes it possible for us to scrutinize our innermost center, our heart, so to speak. What can we find there? What we find there is the Word of God that brings forth all of creation and therefore also us. We find this Word that brought forth all that is deep in ourselves. We can find what St. Augustine so beautifully described, namely that tu autem interior intimo meo et superior sumo meo. Du bist in mir higher than my highest and more inward than my innermost self. This capability to discover the Word of God within the deep of ourselves sets us apart from the rest of creation. Man has the Word of God, God's image, at the very center of himself. That is why he is set apart from the rest of creation. Why is this so? Because discovering the Word of God that brought forth all of creation within himself, humans are the only creatures capable of saying thanks for all of creation. That is why creation waits in eager expectation the revelation of the children of God, as St. Paul writes in Romans 8:19. And why would creation wait for human beings? It waits because creation is a gift of God, because God is love, and there must be sometime a creature that starts to understand that and saying thanks.